Welcome to Random Select. Please enjoy.
Hey, what's going on, everyone? This is Mario, and I would like to welcome you into another episode of Random Select. And today, I would like to do an episode called What Does It Take to Be a Man? And pretty much, this is one of those type of things where I kind of am talking to the fellas, talking to the guys to kind of see what do you consider being a man? And what was your path to kind of get to the point where you do consider yourself a man? Because I know there's a lot of different guys out there that have a lot of different reasons as to why they think they are a man, and a lot of different routes that can be considered as the journey to becoming a man. But I just want to talk about it a little bit, get into it, and kind of see, where it goes. For me, speaking personally about me, I grew up without a father. So let's just start it off right there, and let me just kind of explain the route to becoming a man when you grow up without a father. And that's not to say that your journey still can't be complete and won't become the best possible man that you could become. But somewhere along the way, there are hurdles, there are obstacles, and there are things you have to overcome before you can start to even get your mind to a point where you can accept that maybe now I'm ready to be the quote unquote traditional man. And we'll get into that a little later in this podcast, quote unquote, what the traditional man is. But let me start it off by saying, um, my mom, she was a loving person. She tried her best to raise me how she see fit, but that was back during a time where most black women just felt they're not going to raise no punks as, a son. And so sometimes she was hard on me, and I always thought maybe overly hard, but in some ways it shaped me, but in some ways it kind of messed me up too. And she felt that she had to be the man and try to teach me how to be a man. And if you pause it right there, you will understand that was the beginning of some of my issues and some of my problems, because through her best attempts, with all her efforts, she was trying to teach me something that she had no clue on how to be. She was trying to teach me something that she couldn't possibly teach me, and that's how to be a man. So if you start right there, you'll realize that that's the thing that kind of sent you down this path where you became quick tempered. You had no patience. Um, Anger was always in you, and it was the beginning to you becoming emotional unavailable to women. And then also the reverse effects of not having men around was that you didn't have an example, because let's face it, kids learn by what they see. They learn by the repetition of any particular act, whether that be violence, whether that be kind and caring, whether that be loving, or whether that be dysfunction. We all learn through repetition as kids. So what you see the most is what you're probably most apt to do when you grow up, because it has become ingrained in you. It has become what you have seen on a regular basis. Therefore, if you see it over and over and over, you tend to think that's the norm and that's the way things are supposed to be. So now with that being said, we had a lot of us growing up, a lot of my friends, and we joke about this a lot, that we could count on one hand how many fathers there were in our neighborhood. I mean, we joke about it, but the truth, harsh reality of it is, it's not funny at all. It's extremely sad, you know. But that's just the way it was. And I used to get things like um, when Christmas time came around, and some people would go see their fathers because the fathers didn't stay there. They would go visit, And they would say, Mario, are you going to see your father? And, and because kids are so cruel and they say some of the meanest things, people would say, now y'all know Mario ain't got no daddy. Because not even for, holidays and birthdays and stuff, I wouldn't even get the token occasional appearance from my father. So if you factor in that all you had was a melting time bomb on your hands, because one, I was angry because I felt, why didn't my father love me? Why wasn't he there? Two, I felt that my mama couldn't understand. All she said was, like I said, I ain't raising no punks. If somebody, mess with you, fighting you, you better get back out there and fight them, instead of giving you like that hug and that compassion to say, okay, it's going to be okay. Let's try to go back out here and diplomatically work this out, because there's more than one way to solve a problem. But as far as my mom was concerned, it was not more than one way to solve a problem. The way to solve a problem is, if somebody messing with you, you better pick up something and hit them in their head. So as you can see, like I said, the foundation for me becoming a man was just totally not right, totally messed up, but somehow overcame. But somehow at around 30, my light came on. And that's a lot, I mean, that's something to be said, because we see every day, all day, that a lot of people light bulb don't come on. And me and my friends, we talk about this all the time. 30 is about that right age for your light to come on. But we see it all the time where a lot of people light don't come on. So going through middle school and and I'm just trying to give you guys a roadmap to show you how a man could grow up to be so dysfunctional, so so emotionally unavailable, and so stuck and set in his own ways, that by the time you get to the point where you're serious about women, you are in no shape whatsoever to be calling yourself somebody's husband, to be calling yourself somebody's boyfriend, and more importantly, you are in no shape to be calling yourself someone's father. So I'm just trying to give you a roadmap as to how this progresses and how this gets to a point where, as men, we just become all messed up. So now, I gave you the instances where they said Mario, Mario don't have a daddy, So like I said, that's starting to make you angry. So now any little conflict or any little thing that goes on, you ready to fight. You want to solve everything with violence and brutality. So this is the beginning stages of us becoming dysfunctional, because no one ever sits you down and try to talk to you how to problem solve other than fighting. And then you run into the guys in the neighborhood who trying to teach you about women, life, and love. And you realize, you're eating it all up because you have no other male in your life to tell you anything. So now you're taking advice in places that you shouldn't be taking advice in. So now they're telling you all this messed up stuff, about how you should treat women, about, it's not the quality of a woman that matters, but it's how many you get. In the hood, you're made to seem like you're a rock star if you could get, a whole bunch of women, a whole bunch of girls. No one ever tells you that you should find you a good quality woman for you guys to make a connection with each other, and you try to settle down with that person and deepen you guys' connection. But no, it's about how many notches you could get on your belt, how many women you could smash, and when you're not doing those type of things, you're ridiculed. They're saying, you ain't got no game, you ain't a player. Get ridiculed for being a virgin, get ridiculed for not, just laying it down like that. So then now there's that. You got to deal with that. So now you got all these things going against you. You got one, your mother trying to teach you a man. Two, you got the issues of your father not being there. Three, you got the things going on in the neighborhood. You learning from all the wrong people in the neighborhood, teaching you how to be a man, teaching you, how life should go. And then when you look back on it and you look back on who was teaching you that, you realize, wait a minute, they never did anything with their life. They never got out the hood. They never did anything. And one time when I was growing up, this guy named Wayne told me that, he said, I mean, literally came to me and said, hey, look, Mario, I'm telling you, man, if you don't get out this hood by the time you're 25, you're not ever leaving here. And for some reason, out of everything that I learned, everything that I heard growing up in the hood, that stuck with me. I mean, thank God that I had something to cling on to, had something that just nagged at me, ate at me. And he said it to me, the most profound thing that I ever heard in all my years of almost half of my life living in the hood. That was the most profound, most prolific thing, had the most impact on me in my life. And I didn't even realize it at the time. But that one statement quite possibly saved my life. That's how powerful words can be. That's how powerful, if you get the right person becoming your mentor, becoming a coach to you. That's how powerful words can be, because people say a lot of things every day. People preach about a lot of stuff every day. Sometimes you throw enough words up against the wall, some stick. And for me, those words stuck. And I did a lot of things, based a lot of decisions off those words. So now you got me entering high school. And by the time I was entering high school, it was to the point where you really couldn't tell me nothing. My temper was just way too gone for anybody to do anything with. You know, I swore I was a chick magnet, swore that, I was a player extraordinaire. And all these was bad combinations, because when somebody can't tell you nothing and you think you the bum, and at that particular point, moms couldn't tell me nothing, because at that point I'm like 6'1", 6'2". My mom's like 5'4", and I just felt at that point right there in high school, I was a man, which obviously couldn't have been further from the truth. So what do I do? Because anybody couldn't tell me nothing, I go and, get someone pregnant, have my first kid, 17 going on 18. So now people tell me, oh, you about to be a man because you about to have a kid. You about to, you about to be a man now. Oh boy, you done went and did it. Oh, you about to be a father. And then, they bigged you up for that. They made you feel like you were something special because you got someone pregnant. That's the one validation you had to know that you were a man, because you was out there having sex. But no one tell you that in a roundabout way, you probably have made one of the biggest mistakes of your life. Eventually it works out, but nobody tells you all the drama and the stress and the hardships that you're gonna go through. And conversely, the hardships and the drama and the BS that you're gonna take that girl through, because you're just a dumb little boy who could nobody tell anything. You think you got all the answers, and you finna bring nothing but pure hell to this girl's life. She don't deserve it. She don't need it, but oh, it's about to happen. So you gotta think, now everybody telling me I'm a man, so I gotta, try to man up and take care, this child that I got. And ironically, it turns out to be a girl. So I tell myself I'm gonna be there for her, like, my father wasn't there for me, But when you're young, those are just words. Those are just words that you say, that you try to convince yourself that you're gonna not be like your father. But guess what? Since nobody was there to teach you the foundation and how to be right and how to be there for a man, just by evolution alone, just by you not being right, you're gonna turn out to be just like your father, for the simple reason you don't know what to do from here. You didn't have anybody tell you how to treat a woman, let alone how to raise a child. So now all this stuff you doing on the fly. So because we're young and we feel like we still want to sow our wild oats, I'm not in a relationship with the girl that I got pregnant. I don't even know if I'm feeling her like that or liking her like that. It was just something that happened. But guess what? You still got to be there for the baby. Still got to be there to try to provide some type of positive input into this child's life. And I'm only saying that now because I understand what positive input and what you're trying to positive input and what you need to be trying to do with your kids now. But at that time, like most 17-year-old boys, I got ghosted. I wasn't returning her calls. I wasn't coming around. Still wanted to do what I wanted to do because, in my mind, as long as the baby wasn't around me, it didn't exist. It wasn't real. It was just something that somebody told me. But as long as, I didn't have to do anything for it or take any responsibility for it, it didn't exist. And so, as you see now, not only are you not being a man, not only do you not know how to be a man, now you're perpetuating a cycle because now you're not being there for your kid. So people don't understand that not just not being a man, it's a dangerous, vicious cycle that keeps perpetuating itself, and we're not doing anything about it. And this has been going on for a long time, and this is just an example of my story. So now, on the road to becoming a man, I'm hitting my early 20s, right? So at that particular point, I'm saying, okay, I'm trying to get myself together. I want to try to go to school. I want to try to further myself because now I'm starting to look back at things and say, wow, I screwed this up. So now at this particular point, the little girl is about 3. So now, after 3 years of not being in her life, I'm trying to come around. I'm trying to do the right thing. But guess what? I built up so much resentment inside of the mom that, she really don't want to have anything to do with me. So when she finally do allow me to see the little girl don't know me. She's scared of me. She don't want to come to me, and I can't understand for the life of me at that particular time why. But deep down inside of me, you know why you wasn't around for this girl. You just a stranger to her. And so now when you're trying to be a man and trying to do the right thing, your daughter don't know you. So you gotta understand, see, it's a ripple effect for you not doing what you're supposed to do. Because even if I wanted to do what I was supposed to do back then, I didn't know how. I didn't have a roadmap or a foundation for someone to teach me how to do the right thing. My mom did the very best she can, and I bless her for that, and I love her. But when I got to the point where I'm ready to deal with life, I'm ready to deal with kids, I'm ready to deal with relationships, the truth of the matter is, I was extremely under-equipped. Just couldn't do it. And recently, thanks to a friend of mine, Quinette, she's actually helping me understand, mindset. My mindset was not right, So like I said, even if I wanted to, I couldn't. So now I'm in my early 20s and I'm about to be a man, and then you grow and you running around saying, oh, I got my own little place. I'm trying to get things together. And now I'm still out there trying to play the field, still out there trying to sleep with everything that moves. But now, a little part of me trying to get right with my daughter. And I'm finding that hard tread. I'm finding that, hard to go. So I meet another person. So what happens is once you meet another person, you swear you got it together. Got my own little place. I'm working, got a little car. I'm a man now, a real man. Yeah. The way that works is started dealing with her and swore that maybe, I feel a little something that I'm in love with her. And in my heart, yeah, I felt I truly love her. So here comes baby number 2. So now you say this is going to be different because I'm going to be in this child's life, and which turns out I was in that child's life from, the very beginning. But I still hadn't got myself right from an emotional standpoint to be emotionally available. Still haven't got myself right from learning how to love a woman and be with a woman and show her, attention, show her affection and stuff like that. Because once again, I'm still emotionally unavailable. I still got scars that I can't get past because once again, even if I wanted to, I wouldn't even know where to begin. So that don't work. That's another collateral damage, another, broken heart that I've left, behind me. Cause me, I moved on now, you know. So then you meet another girl. And then the same thing happened. And there's child number 3, you know. And at this particular time, this is, I got 3 kids all before the age of 25 at this particular time. Been in that child life from the beginning. And which is weird because I started developing love for the kids, more so than love for the women. So I'm like, okay, I'm taking care of my kids. I'm doing what I'm supposed to do. But for somehow I'm still feeling empty. I'm still feeling shallow on the inside because I can't find anyone that I can bond with or get to know or feel confident in, because once again I'm still to the point where I don't know what it takes to love a woman. I don't know what it takes to be nobody's boyfriend. I don't know what it takes to be anybody's husband. Still shouldn't be a father, but somehow, some way, I'm making progress in that area, which is weird because anyone who's been with me, current situation included, to tell you I've always been a great dad. Maybe not so much of a great boyfriend, husband, but I'm just saying, on the road to becoming a man, what we need to realize is that the 20s are just trying to figure out what it takes to be a man. Because when you first turn 18, you think you're grown, and then now when you figure you're grown, you learn to drive, you learn to drink, so you think, okay, I'm a man now. But most of your 20s, you spend playing around, figuring out what it is to be grown, sleeping with as many people as you possibly can, and then you hit your 30s. Because I got married when I was 25 years old. And I tell her all the time, I apologize to you because I was not fit to be anybody's husband at 25. Honestly, truthfully, speaking completely honest, I was not ready. And I apologize to her all the time, saying, man, if I knew what I knew now, if I thought like I think now at 25, I would have been such a better husband to you than I was. So now I get to about 30 and my light finally comes on and I start to get it. And I start to say, hey, this is about my family. This is about my life. This is about treating my wife right. This is about doing all the things you're supposed to do. But here's the funny thing about when your light comes on. By the time it does come on, my God, you've done so much damage behind you. You've done so much collateral damage. You've got broken relationship with kids. You got a broken relationship with women, current wife. You've taken through so much hell, so much BS. You got trust issues going with her because I was never showed a loving, caring, committed relationship. Therefore, I couldn't be that way. So this is why I say all the time that God has a sense of humor. He gives you ability to finally see things in a different light. But once you shine the light onto this, you really see what you've really done. So I spent from 30 to maybe 35 trying to repair stuff, trying to fix things between the kids, even though I was really, a decent father. I must admit that. But like I said, when it came to being a boyfriend and a relationship and a husband, yeah, dropped the ball on that one. And that's why I'm saying this to say that be careful, guys out there making this, professing that you're a man, because it takes more than being a man than your age. It takes more than to to be a man than because now you can drink, now you can smoke. It takes more than being a man because you're screwing, having sex with, or however you want to refer to it, with multiple women. That does not make you a man. It takes more to being a man than just because some your friends are bigging you up and making you feel good because you're doing all this player type of stuff. Being a man is not having a fancy car. Being a man is not having your own, having a fancy crib and all that. Being a man is one of those type of things where you could define it in several different ways. But when you get to the point where your word is valued above all else, that's one of the steps to being a man. Do what you say you're going to do. Let's not leave it up to doubt. Let's not let anyone bring into question your character, bring into question your word. Because if you could be that type of person, you'll be better. You'll be ahead of the game than most men are when it comes to that. Second, take care of your responsibilities. You and a woman don't have to be together. Y'all don't have to be in a relationship or anything like that. But just because you're not in a relationship with her, don't mean you don't have to treat her with respect, treat her with kindness. And it don't mean that you shouldn't take care of your kids. Whether you with her or not, your responsibility becomes to that child. Third of all, also on the road to becoming a man is when you decide that you want to take that plunge to be with a woman. Find value in the fact that you got you a good quality woman. Value is not in the quantity of women that you have, because at the end of the day, you could sleep with 50 women. But how many out of those 50 women gonna have your back? How many out of those 50 women you can actually trust? How many of those 50 women, when you get sick, is gonna be the one to take you to the doctor? Who's cooking for you? Who's cleaning your clothes? Who's being a good mother to your kids? Don't undervalue the realness that a good quality woman brings to your life. Don't undervalue the safe and secure feeling that a good woman brings to your life. So when we sit out here saying that you're a man, you're a real man, really sit down and evaluate what it takes to be a man. And another thing about being a man is too, this whole you should be hard all the time, men shouldn't cry. That is one thing that we definitely got to go back on and revisit and start telling our kids. If something happened to you, it's okay to cry for the moment, get it out, and move on. Now, you don't have to excessively cry about it, but sometimes crying makes you feel better. When my mom passed away, I thought that I was a strong man, and I thought that I couldn't, break down. And I thought, okay, she had been sick for a while. I was prepared for it. I gave myself the speech 1,000 times that I'm ready. When it happens, it's going to be not a big deal. And especially, I wasn't going to do it in front of my friends and my family because I wanted them to see me as strong. And as soon as we got to the point where they was lowering the casket down into the ground, I don't know, man. I just felt like my best friend. I felt like my everything. I felt like the blue had been taken out the sky. That's how I truly felt when my mom passed away. And what I realized was I just wasn't crying for my mom passing away. Every time I had bottled up a feeling or emotion because I never cried, it all came out right then and there. It's like someone just pulled the plug on a swimming pool and all the water just came flooding out. And that's when I truly realized that sitting back, making yourself emotionally unavailable, balling up all your emotions, and it can't be healthy for us. That's why at the flip of a dime, we ready to kill somebody. We ready to shoot somebody or beat somebody to death because we got so much anger and aggression in us, especially as black men. We got so much anger and aggression in us because we don't cry. We don't let it out. We don't let our emotions come out. So what I'm saying is, on the path to becoming a real man and you're dealing with a woman, be emotionally available for that woman. Let her know that you don't always have to be the hard person. Let her know that you're not being a punk or anything like that, but let her know that you are human. And I promise you, your woman will respect you and love you for that. She won't look at you and keep saying, oh, he's a punk, he's sensitive. Sometimes certain situations call for actually knowing when not to be a man. And when I say not to be a man, I'm talking about the typical man who has no empathy, who has no emotion. Sometimes you need to just go up to your woman and hold her and let her know that you feel with her, you sympathize with her. And if something comes, God forbid, y'all have some type of tragedy in her in you guys' life, and she has to cry, it's okay to cry with your woman. It's okay. So I'm going to end all that and just say, fellas, sometimes being a man is more than just saying the words. Being a man is just more than a few physical characteristics, things that you have. If you truly, truly, truly want to be a man, just be able to have a moral compass that you can walk by, that you can feel happy with. And that's the bottom line. All right, guys, I want to thank you for tuning in to another episode of Random Select. I want to thank you guys for letting me rant and getting some personal feelings off my chest that I haven't really talked about in a long time, but it felt good to kind of open up. Sometimes when I'm doing these shows, it's extremely therapeutic for me as well. So with that being said, I want to say you can find Random Select on YouTube. Just type in the Random Select podcast. We're at Twitter. That's at Random Select, and that's select with 2 T's. You can find us on the website at therandomselect.com. You can find us on the Facebook. Just type in Random Select, and our page should pop up. And with that being said, truly and sincerely thank you guys for indulging me. And with that being said, the Random Select is out.
You have been listening to Random Select. Thank you. Goodbye.